Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special 4th of July edition of The Rant. I am Mr. E. I am your host, and I decided to partake in this day as it's a special day for me because it actually means something. I've read the Declaration of Independence, I've read the Constitution, and for me it's one of those documents and one of those things that symbolizes freedom and the ability to do, say, and think as we please without the worry of totalitarian regimes and various other political forces trying to tell us what to do and how to think and how to live. And in a human history that is very plentiful in examples of human misery and suffering, I think this one is something special. So to celebrate today, Independence Day, I thought I'd do my Declaration of Independence. You see, I've read the Declaration of Independence, and I'll post a link down below for the YouTube video, but in terms of things, you need to be able to declare your independence not only to the world but to yourself. And it makes sense to do so, whether you do it in a empty room to yourself or whether you do it like I'm about to do on this whiteboard. And as you probably just heard, there was a cat. So choice. So what we do Declaration of Independence. What do I have for you? Number one, independence of thought. You see, if you can't think for yourself, then how can you say you have knowledge and wisdom? I mean, knowledge, yeah, they give you a whole bunch of facts and information that may or may not be true or are coming from one perspective and not the other, that aren't balanced. But if you don't have the ability to think independently, how can you question stuff? How can you ask a question if you can't think independently? How can you look at somebody when they tell you something and go, well, can you explain that, or can you think about it, or can you reason with it, can you logic with it? You have to be able to think of what's going on and what's happening within a conversation, within a situation, and you have to be able to question it. Well, why is this happening? What is this happening for? Can I fix this? Can I solve this? What solutions can I find? If you can't do those things, you don't have independence of thought. You're just repeating indoctrinated talking points that you're not coherently thinking about. They're just taught to you. They're trained to you. But you don't actually understand them and think about it. And that's where this comes into play. Now, the second thing, the willingness to explore. Now, being able to question things means you're willing to say, well, what's this about? What is this like? How is this going to affect me? You're willing to do these things and ask these questions. You're willing to explore new boundaries, new philosophies, new ideas, and you're also willing to consider the possibilities. I mean, let's face it, if you can't consider the possibilities, what's the point? Because you're not thinking independently still. You're not willing to question things, because you got to think of what the possibilities are when you're exploring things. If you don't, then let's say you go into the forest and you didn't pack a firearm because you thought that Yogi Bear was an accurate representation of forest dwelling life. Well, reality is going to come and eat you, because out in the forest, if you don't have a gun and you encounter a cougar, a mountain lion, a bear, or some other creature that just happens to look at humans as an appetizing snack, you didn't consider the possibilities, and now you're chow for some forest-dwelling creature that you thought was going to be cute and clever and turned out to be very hungry. Got to consider the possibilities. You know, not everything in life is 100% going to work out beautifully the way you think and hope it to be. Sometimes it gets really shitty. So, I have a willingness to explore. I have a willingness to consider the possibilities. But the third thing, know how to be. This is a little bit of adaptation to life. Because again, if you have independence of thought, you're willing to question things. If your willingness to question things, that means you have a willingness to explore new possibilities. So if you're willing to consider the possibilities of what may happen, you know how to be in that role, in that situation. Well, guess what? If you know how to be in that situation, whether it be somebody coming at you with a knife, whether it be somebody coming at you with a philosophical argument that you're not quite prepared for, if you're in a situation that you're literally not quite prepared to handle, you need to know how to be. You need to know how to react. You need to know how to compensate for that, because if you ask questions in that situation, you could be in the right or you could be totally screwed. It's one of those situations where you have to know how to react in that situation, because you consider the possibilities of what could happen. You need to be independent of thought to do these things, because if you're taught and trained, it's not going to work out too well for you, because you have to be willing to think about things in order to do the things that need to be done when they need to be done, which comes action, Jackson. Old saying when I was a kid, if you want to do something, you got to get to action, Jackson. You got to do it. You got to get up and do it. You got to get up and move. You got to get up and take care of things when it comes to you. Opportunity doesn't knock all the time, so if you're not willing to act accordingly, opportunity passes you by and you're screwed. The same goes for if you're in a dire situation. If you don't act at the right time with the right decision, you're screwed. If you do, you could come out a hero and everything will work beautifully, but you got to do it. This is my declaration of independence, folks. To have independence of thought, to be able to question things, a willingness to explore mentally and physically, to consider the possibilities of everything that I do and I plan to do, to know how to be in that situation, and then to commit to action. That is what needs to be done to be independent, and you can do it. I can do it, you can do it, everybody can do it. So let's do it, let's have some fun doing it. Have a good one. Enjoy. This is The Rant. Peace.